Annie Get Your Gun, a 1950 film, is a classic piece of cinema that stands the test of time. The movie, filled with humor, shockers, and poignant moments, promises an unforgettable ride. Have you ever wondered when you first caught a glimpse of this cinematic gem? The film features a myriad of roles, each with its own charm. Out of the many characters, which one stole your heart? Share your favorite with us. As you delve into the world of Annie Get Your Gun, brace yourself for funny, shocking, and even heartbreaking moments. The narrative weaves through various emotions, making it an experience worth savoring. So, when was the first time you watched this movie, and which character left a lasting impression on you? Now, we want to hear from you. What's your most cherished memory or personal experience related to this cinematic masterpiece? Drop your stories and memories in the comments below. We can't wait to hear from you. Stay tuned for more interesting facts and anecdotes about this timeless classic. Many more surprises await. Keep watching, and don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences. In the comparison between Betty Hutton and Judy Garland for the leading role in Annie Get Your Gun, opinions diverge. Some argue that Judy Garland, renowned for her roles in The Wizard of Oz, Meet Me in St. Louis, and A Star is Born, could have brought her exceptional talents to the part. However, Betty Hutton, often considered one of the greatest musical comedians of her time, delivered a noteworthy performance, particularly in her interpretation of You Can't Get a Man with a Gun. Betty Hutton's portrayal, despite being overshadowed by the controversy of replacing Judy Garland, showcased her artistic prowess. In contrast, some critics found fault in the film as a whole, deeming it an awful experience from beginning to end. The complaints centered around perceived overacting from Hutton, lackluster sets, forgettable songs, and a poorly received storyline, marking it as a musical to avoid. Reflecting on the casting choices, the discussion around Judy Garland's potential miscasting emphasizes that Betty Hutton successfully adapted her screen persona to play Annie. While Judy Garland may have been under contract with MGM, casting her as Annie Oakley could have been a misstep for her already teetering career. The analysis considers other leading ladies who might have fit the role, ultimately acknowledging that Betty Hutton delivered a commendable performance. In conclusion, opinions on Annie Get Your Gun vary, with some praising Betty Hutton's contribution, while others express disappointment in the film's overall quality. The film's historical context, including Judy Garland's outtakes, adds an intriguing layer to the discussion. Regardless of differing views, Annie Get Your Gun remains a significant piece of cinematic history. Unused Busby Berkeley-directed footage necessitated reshoots, revealing a departure from the original plan for key sequences like I'm an Indian Too, originally slated for a soundstage. The film saw recasting, including child roles, following Judy Garland's exit and Betty Hutton's entrance, evident in the Garland version of Doin' What Comes Naturally. Originally intended for Jerome Kern, the musical score fell to Irving Berlin after Kern's sudden death. Berlin, uncharacteristically adapting to an existing plot, departed from his usual approach of composing songs first, then developing scripts around them. Notably, this marked Berlin's inaugural venture into scoring for a show with a predetermined storyline. Ginger Rogers, in her 1991 autobiography, expressed a determined pursuit of the film. She instructed her agent, Leland Hayward, to secure the role at any cost, stating she'd work for a mere $1 to make the deal legal. However, Louis B. Mayer, unimpressed, advised her to stick to her elegant image, asserting that she couldn't embody the required rambunctiousness of Annie Oakley. In the film's closing scenes, a visual spectacle unfolds as a multitude of individuals on horseback form concentric circles, ultimately shaping a target with Annie Oakley and Frank Butler at the bullseye. This striking imagery concludes the cinematic journey. Before Judy Garland took on the role of Annie Oakley, considerations for casting involved Doris Day and Judy Canova. Betty Hutton was also initially mentioned, preceding her eventual replacement of Garland in the role. A dynamic blend of determined pursuit, visual symbolism, and casting transitions shaped the narrative of this cinematic production. Judy Garland and Frank Morgan, known for their collaboration in The Wizard of Oz, were initially slated to reunite in a 1950 film project. However, Garland faced health issues, leading to her departure from the role of Annie Oakley. Subsequently, Betty Hutton stepped in to assume Garland's character, while Louis Calhern replaced the late Frank Morgan as Buffalo Bill Cody. Director Busby Berkeley's departure from the project prompted the arrival of George Sidney, with Charles Walters initially set to take over before his dismissal. The film's evolution also witnessed the inclusion of an original song, Let's Go West Again, by Irving Berlin, which, despite being deleted, features recordings by both Judy Garland and Betty Hutton, available on the Rhino soundtrack CD. Miss Hutton's scenes can be viewed on the Warner Home Video DVD release. These behind-the-scenes changes in casting and direction, coupled with the addition and removal of musical elements, highlight the dynamic transformations within the film's production. The final result, marked by the unique contributions of its cast and crew, brings a distinctive flavor to the cinematic landscape. The intricacies of these alterations provide a fascinating glimpse into the making of this classic movie. Louis Calhern stepped into the role of Buffalo Bill Cody after Frank Morgan's sudden demise during the initial stages of filming. Interestingly, if you closely observe Buffalo Bill's first appearance on horseback, you'll catch a brief glimpse of Frank Morgan before the transition to Calhern. Behind the scenes, tensions brewed between Betty Hutton and Howard Keel during the production. Keel believed Hutton prioritized her career over camaraderie with her co-stars. In a twist of events, Charles Walters remained unaware of his replacement by George Sidney until he stumbled upon gossip columnist Hedda Hopper's on-air revelation. The transition in directors added another layer of intrigue to the film's production. Betty Hutton and Howard Keel's on-set discord, along with the behind-the-scenes directorial switch, contributed to the unique dynamics that shaped the movie. These subtle details, from the unexpected glimpses of the original cast to the conflicts among the actors, offer a peek into the less glamorous aspects of Annie Get Your Gun's creation. Bernadette Peters, in a notable Broadway revival, earned a Tony Award for originating the role of Annie Oakley. This production, the show's longest running, distanced itself from the tumultuous history of the 1950 movie adaptation. Peters expressed her desire to portray Annie Oakley for years, criticizing the Betty Hutton film plagued by issues like Frank Morgan's loss and Judy Garland's departure. The revival's success, however, contrasted with the reluctance of New York producers to revisit the show due to past complications, including Ethel Merman's failed attempt at a revival. The rights to the Broadway show set a record at $650,000. In the 1950 film adaptation, Judy Garland, initially cast as Annie Oakley, fell ill during filming. Production halted until Betty Hutton replaced her after finishing Let's Dance. The movie's troubled history, marked by recasting, director changes, and financial records, starkly contrasts with the enduring success of Peters' Broadway revival, which notably broke away from the shadow of the problematic 1950 adaptation. After Judy Garland's departure, MGM considered Ethel Merman for the lead, but producer Arthur Freed rejected the idea due to Merman's dissatisfaction with past film experiences. Howard Keel faced an injury during filming when a horse fell on his leg. The original Broadway show, premiering in 1946, starred Ethel Merman and Ray Middleton, running for 147 performances. These events, including casting considerations and Keel's on-set injury, added complexities to the 1950 movie's production. The film's challenges, from casting changes to unexpected injuries, provide insight into the less glamorous aspects of its creation, ultimately shaping the movie's distinctive history. The 1950 film faced a prolonged absence from public view, spanning 27 years due to legal disputes involving Irving Berlin's estate and MGM. Only in 2000, after Bernadette Peters' Broadway revival renewed interest, did the film re-enter circulation. In 1953, Howard Keel, a key figure in the film, featured in another Western-themed musical, Calamity Jane, drawing inevitable comparisons to Annie Get Your Gun's success. Betty Hutton, who stepped into the lead role after Judy Garland's departure, faced initial skepticism at MGM. Despite crew preferences for Garland, a later screening of the film garnered praise for Hutton's performance. Notably, Hutton didn't attend the event. Additionally, an intriguing aspect of the film's history involves Howard Keel's loan to Warner Brothers for Calamity Jane and its parallels to Annie Get Your Gun, both depicting musical biographies of strong female characters. This cinematic journey, marked by legal entanglements, recasting, and industry comparisons, reflects the challenges and varied perspectives that shaped Annie Get Your Gun's distinctive history,